Hi everyone, how's it going? Andrew from Double MMA here, and this has been a little while. Last thing we talked about was Davidson Figueiredo versus Peter Yan, and I noticed one thing: there's not a single ranked bantamweight with a scheduled fight. So I'm gonna do the UFC a favor and go ahead and book these fights. Before we get started with that, if you guys are new around here, be sure to subscribe. We're almost at 260 subscribers. Try to get 300. Try to get to 1,000. Just do me that big favor. More content's coming. I have big things planned for the next couple of weeks. Make sure you don't miss that. But enough talking, let's get started with today's video. Obviously, we're talking about the 135 division, and the first thing I want to talk about, we're gonna go from the top 15, the bottom of it, and then move our way up to the championship fight for the next one I want to see. And there's obviously a lot of matchups, so let's get into it. So the first fight I want to see is between Kyler Phillips and, let me see what's the bro's name real quick, Montel Jackson. Montel Jackson, he's kind of going on a little bit of a good little winning streak right now. He's right now on, he's been winning he has 3 fights won in a row that I can see from the screen right here, and his last 2 fights were knockouts in the first round. And I'm pretty sure that's why he's in the top 15. Very, very nice, very good little momentum he has going for himself. And then obviously Kyler Phillips, he was a little bit hyped, He jumped into the rankings when he beat Pedro Munoz back in March. Ever since then, he got another fight booked against Rob Font, which he looked absolutely atrocious. Very, very disappointing, and bro did not live up to his hype. So in my opinion, he needs to fight down the rankings to, confirm that he's still that guy. And I think this fight makes sense. We got to get some prelim fights going, and, like I said, it makes sense. Next fight, we have Jose Aldo versus Marcus McGee. Now, hold me up. Hear me out. My boy Jose Aldo, he is a legend. He is probably, man, there's a lot of my goats, but he's one of my favorite fighters, and I have so much respect for him because he did so much for the sport. Probably the most successful featherweight ever. I know Volk and Holloway and them, they had their good little runs. But bro was just like an OG and a GOAT. And I believe if I could do things right, if I was Dana White, I'd give him a fight up the rankings, because they made him fight 2 times down, and then bro had a really disappointing fight against Mario Batista, which was kind of Mario Batista's fault, because I'm a big hater, even though but at the end of the day, this is a company, and he lost, and I don't know if they would reward a loss with fight up the rankings. If they did, awesome, but realistically speaking, this fight makes sense to me. Marcus McGee, he's looking pretty good. He literally just fought a couple weeks ago against Jonathan Martinez. Looked really good except for that last round, but he still won the fight, and he looked really, really good, like I said, and he deserves to fight up the rankings. Jose Aldo needs a bounce back after that loss. It makes sense to me, like I said, I'd like to see them better for Jose Aldo 100%, but for me, this matchup makes sense, so let's just see it, I guess. Next fight, Mario Batista, man. He's fighting, what's his little name? Aman Zaba, aka Ariel Helwani if he was a GOAT. Me personally, I'm not a fan of Mario Batista. I don't like what he did to Jose Aldo, and I don't believe I should reward this. But unfortunately, he has to get another fight. But he for sure not gonna fight up the rankings under Conejo Promotions. So we're gonna give him number 13. I can't pronounce his name. Zababi. Coming off a win against Pedro Munoz. He's on a fight winning streak. Beat Basharat, Arlo Drulik. He's looking really good. He should fight up the rankings. Get his name up there. Why not against Mario Batista? Maybe he can take bro out once and for all. And that's that for this matchup. Next one, we're starting to get up there, the top 10. These big names. And some of these you might disagree with, and that's okay. We're only human. And by all means, let me know how I'm wrong in the comments. Let me get that engagement. But this is the matchup I made. Rob Font versus Henry Cejudo. Like we mentioned earlier, Rob Font, he fought against Kyler Phillips earlier in the year. Looked very good. Got a very nice win. Henry Cejudo hasn't won a fight in a while. Granted, he is a very good fighter. Double champ and all. He's a future Hall of Famer for sure. But unfortunately, he's been fighting people who have the kryptonite to his style, very heavy grappling, and they Merab kind of embarrassed him. But if he's really game, I think it's a good matchup for him. I think he could beat Rob Font, and then maybe from there propel himself to a higher title shot. Like, well, not a title shot, but a contender fight. And Rob Font, this would be a good fight for him to get back up there, maybe top 6, top 5, and then from there maybe. Well, imagine a title, Rob Font title run, be kind of funny. But I think this match makes sense for both men, and I like to see it. Next we have Song Da-Yong versus Chito Vera. I believe this will be the rematch. I ain't watched the first fight. This is before my UFC era. Song Da-Yong, obviously, he was a very hyped prospect. He's lost a couple times, you know, to like, obviously, I think he lost to Chito Vera the first time. He lost to Corey Sandhagen, and then most recently lost to, what's his name, Peter Yan. And you know, by that logic, bro, like, he just lost to Peter Yan. That's his last fight. And by that logic, maybe he should fight down the rankings. But sometimes they book fights based on the guy with the higher name. And here I'm looking at Chito Vera, who's a very big name. And he's coming off a loss to Sean O'Malley and Chito Vera. I mean, I guess against Davison Figueiredo. In my opinion, this fight makes sense. It's a good bounce up for him, like to come back after double losses in a row. If he wins it, great. That means he's actually like not that bad. He's fighting against a young guy. He already beat once. I think if he just locks in, he can do it. And if he loses, then maybe this is a chance for Song Da-Yong to enter the top 5. You know, put himself up there, fight again another time after that to fight for a title fight. And like I said, fight makes sense. Next fight. Okay, this one gets a little bit controversial, maybe to some, but at the same time, it makes sense. Both fellas are coming off losses. Corey Sandhagen, Davison Figueiredo. Both are pretty respectable names. Have a lot of good wins. Actually, hear me out. What are the best wins of Corey Sandhagen? I feel like he's lost to all the top competition. Yeah, he beat Marlon Vera. He beat Rob Font. Who else did he beat? Frankie Edgar. Yeah, he's very technical and stuff, but I think when it comes down to it, like, what he lost to Peter Yan, lost to Aljo, lost to to Umar. And those are like fights that, like, in my opinion, you have to win if you want to be top level. But like, he lost that, and I'm not saying he's not top level, but maybe he's just not better than the top guys. You feel me? You know, that's just something I just like thought in my head right now. He's still a cool dude though. But yeah, both guys are coming off losses. What's his name? Corey Sandhagen coming off a loss to Umar, and Figueiredo coming off a loss to Yan. Because they're both top 5. It'll be a very exciting matchup. Both have big power. Both pretty good grappling. Corey especially has improved the grappling a lot. And winner can be like up there for the next title fight. Like, I mean, the next title eliminator if they win. And in my opinion, the fight makes sense. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Next, we have another little controversial one, but like I said, this is my list. If you guys disagree, let me know. Sean O'Malley coming off his first loss, as you like to say, to Merab. Very embarrassing in my opinion. No one cares about this dude anymore. I have not heard a single thing about him. It's kind of funny. And then Peter Yan, who's coming off back-to-back wins. And you know, you can make an argument that Peter Yan should fight for the title. And a part of me really wants to see it because I really love Peter Yan. I think it's really awesome. But the only thing I have against him is that he lost to the champion 50-45. And while he did look incredibly good on the get-ups and the grappling when he fought Davison Figueiredo, did he really improve enough to neutralize Merab and his relentless pressure? Well, you know, we pray that he did. But maybe I think one more fight and then to give it to him. And since, you know, obviously I got this matchup, you probably know who's next. But by all means, if they go Peter Yan, Merab, that's fine, you know. He's equally deserving. But there's one matchup that I think will happen for multiple reasons over the Peter Yan one, and I'll get into that right now. Obviously, we have the next title fight. Merab versus Umar Nurmagomedov. And I know. He hasn't fought no one. But he did beat number 2 ranked Corey Sandhagen. And that's a very big name. Very big ranking win. And while he never, that's like his second ranked opponent. Is it really his fault that no one is wanting to fight him? And why, like he's extremely good in coming from a camp that is known for being super elite. The odds that they're gonna lose is super high. And you know, while that might sound like a coward, probably is, but bro is not getting fights. So I don't know if it's fair for him to say that he hasn't had any ranked wins when his like best win is against Corey Sandhagen, which is pretty good. That's a very good name to have. And then obviously, you know, Merab's the champ. You know, he's gonna fight whoever they tell him to. Another reason I think this fight is gonna happen is for like 2 reasons. They're all have to do with Dana White and the UFC promotion-wise. Dana himself said that Umar is next. When Dana White typically says something, he typically gets it done. Obviously, he's a liar here and there, but you know, he was on for a year talking about Stipe fighting Jones, and he stuck to it. So I think he's gonna stick to his word here and give Umar the title fight. And why wouldn't they? That's big money, you know. Obviously, the Saudis love their Saudi champs. I don't think they like Merab that much anyway. And then 2, they literally, as soon as Umar beat Corey, they took him to the Sphere at the title fight for this, the last title fight for 135. And as soon as Merab won, they were like, "You got someone next for you in the crowd," and they showed Bronum. And they typically only do that to build up promotion, you know. And another reason I think it's gonna happen is because Merab is ducking him so bad, dude. That's kind of embarrassing. He's like, "Who has he fought? Who has he fought? Who has he won? This and that." Like, it's something you don't like to see, especially if bro's battle, like if bro's the champ. I don't think the UFC likes it either, but you know, they're gonna force his hand because the UFC is the top dog. So yeah, that's why I think this fight's gonna happen and why it should happen. But that's gonna do it for this video. I think these are pretty awesome matchups. I'd like to see every single one of them, and if I get them right, y'all gotta give me a like, and you know, not hate on my video. If y'all hate, that's cool too. Like I said, give me the engagement. I love it. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you guys stick around this long, I appreciate it so much. Like I said, big things coming. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.